If they butcher her completely, I'm just going to say this: the killer community will die, and we will fall into a domino effect. And viable killers will start becoming less viable, and killer won't be fun. What's up, guys? It's your boy Mike the Great. First and foremost, I want to apologize. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but like the title says, why did I stop playing Dead by Daylight? Right now, I am situational about completely quitting Dead by Daylight. I love the game, but it's just right now what's going on with the game and everything, I see it fit to just stop playing temporarily. I like this game a lot. Dead by Daylight, it was a fun game, but with all the changes that the devs are making to the game, it's becoming less fun for me. Why is that? Well, first and foremost, this video, I'm gonna sound very, very killer biased. I do play Survivor, but I mostly play Survivor off screen. And to be honest with you, I just don't like playing Survivor. Survivor is very, very easy. And not only that, Survivor gets boring to me. There's Survivor, it's just, there's no skill involved with Survivor. Survivor is easy mode. To whereas Killer, I have more fun playing Killer for the simple reason that it actually requires skill. You have to predict what the survivors are gonna do. You have to predict where they're going to go. You have to predict, hey, are they gonna throw that pallet down or not? Survivor just, it's not skill based, but Killer is. And lately with these recent nerfs that have been going on to Killer, like I said in that intro video, Killer is becoming less fun to play. Now, I'm not saying that the ruin changes is what's pushed me to stop playing. The ruin changes, I am neutral about the ruin changes. I'm completely neutral about it because did something need to happen? Yes. But what did nerfing ruin cause in the process? The devs made a foolish choice. They made an extremely foolish choice by nerfing ruin and then saying in their notes that we were using ruin for an emblem. Now, to me, that is half right. We weren't just using it for the emblem, but in my opinion, the things that ruin did for us Killer was it allowed us to play in a way that was not annoying for survivors. Killers, my apologies, Killers now have to play extremely aggressive. Killers now have to slug, and keep in mind that this is something that survivors don't like about Killers. They don't like it because they see it as it's not fun. They see it as it's not fair, or they just don't want to deal with it. Now, this is also going to tie into my opinions about the DC penalty. The DC penalties, I am for PC, I'm all for it. But for console, I am not for it. The reason why for console I'm not for it is because right now console has some severe internet stability. Now granted, yes, that is on the individual person, but if someone lags out of a match, they shouldn't be penalized. If the killer quits the match, it punishes the survivors. That should not be a thing. But the reason why I am for the DC penalties is simply for survivors' entitlement. From my experience from playing this game, when a killer DCs, it's not just entitlement, but it's mostly because the killer is losing. Whereas when survivors DC, survivors most likely will DC either because the game didn't go as they wanted to, or it's because of their entitlement, or they just don't want to deal with that killer. That is why I am for the DC penalties. Now, DC penalties, I believe they're gonna make the game better. They're going to make the game better. It's gonna teach survivors to start getting better. And honestly, the message that the devs put in about the DC penalties, To me, it simply says, hey, if you don't want to get good, well then we're gonna put you in a timeout. We're gonna make you cool down, and then once you come back in, don't do it again, or we're gonna increase your time. That's how I see DC penalties. Then again, this is gonna tie into what I'm saying about the devs nerfing killers, all for survivors' inconvenience. Let me say, for an example, Doctor. I consider Doctor's rework a nerf. I really do consider it a nerf. I feel that they nerfed Doctor for survivors' inconveniences because survivors said that he was annoying. Survivors were complaining, saying that he requires no skill, this, that. Oh, he doesn't have to go looking for survivors. Guess what? Rework Doctor, he can still send a shock throughout his terror radius, and you'll still know that you're there. Unless, of course, you got Calm Spirit. Well, Calm Spirit counters the scream, and he'll laugh whenever he hits somebody. But why is it that survivors tend to complain about a certain killer or a certain mechanic instead of actually putting in the effort to get good? Back when I was a survivor main, I used to love going against OP killers. Old Nurse, Spirit, hell, even the iridescent head hunters. The reason why is because that's what made it fun to me. The fact that I was at a what you guys would call a significant disadvantage, I consider that a challenge and very fun to go against. In my opinion, from a survivor point of view, when I play survivor, I like going up against a decent killer. I like going against a good killer, like Spirit, for instance. A lot of survivors, well, let me tell you this. I once went up against a streamer, and he was in a survive with friends, and when I phased to them, because I predicted where they spawned, when I phased to them, one of the survive with friends she let me grab her off of a totem. At the end of the match, when I go against streamers, I like to go to their stream after the match and watch the replay so that I can critique myself on where I fucked up at and where I can get better at. But when I went back and watched the stream, the person that I pulled off the totem simply said that they don't like going against Spirit because she doesn't give enough information, because they can't tell if she's phasing or not. Keep in mind, this is when Spirit's sound bug still existed. Not only that, did they fix her sounds? Yes and no, because she's still having sound problems. If you're standing in her terror radius, you can hear her phasing. So, and I know this because I tested it. I was in a public match, I heard her phasing while I was standing in her terror radius, and I went to kill your friends and tested it out. But that's my thing. Why is it that survivors insist on complaining to get something nerfed instead of actually trying to put in the effort to get better? Like I said in my intro video, I'm not having fun playing Dead by Daylight anymore. To be honest with you, I've been playing Monster Hunter World. And the only reason why I've been having fun with Monster Hunter World is because I forgot about how much I like actually grinding for things to actually achieve it. But that's outside of Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, right now, I'm gonna stop playing the game. It's not fun to me anymore. Survivor is too easy and it's too boring. I mean, who wants to walk around and just hold M1 or just loop the killer in circles? Like that gets boring. I mean, yes, the chase is the most fun thing about playing Survivor, but it's just, right now, in my opinion, survivors are too strong and killers are too weak. And I believe the game has a lot of potential. I really do. I believe the game still has potential left. The only reason why I stopped playing for now is because right now, one, it's not fun. Two, why is it that the devs are giving survivors the power roll? It's 4v1. A survivor should not keep a killer occupied until the first gen is popped. Survivors should have to work together to overpower the killer. In a 1v1, in my opinion, the killer should be much stronger than the survivor in a 1v1. That's also why I've been playing last year the Nightmare. Because in a 1v1, the classmates don't stand a chance. But when the classmates are working together, the killer is the weak one. And I feel that Dead by Daylight really defeats the purpose simply because, excuse me for saying this, the devs are catering to survivors and their complaints. Survivors think that, oh, you shouldn't be able to do this, oh, you shouldn't be able to do that, oh, I can't escape against this killer. Instead of putting in the actual amount of effort and skill it takes, they would rather complain because it's easier to get that killer nerfed, and then all of a sudden that killer is easy to go against. But not only that, they're not keeping in mind on how that impacts the killer community and or that killer specifically. And I'm sorry guys, I'm running out of words. Like I didn't write anything down. I'm freely doing this. But I'm taking a break from this game right now. Well, my biggest gripe about the game is, one, how strong survivors are, and then two, gen speeds. I've been on the forums. I'm keeping a lookout on the forums. I'm holding on to a little bit of hope that the game is going to get better. As for gen speeds, I know the devs said that they're going to address gen speeds, but right now I do not trust these developers. I do not trust Behavior's developers because they are steady, constantly nerf, killer after killer. Nurse, Freddy, Legion, Spirit, Oni. It's in a killer nerf train, and to be honest with you, I feel that Billy is next. I feel that Billy is next because he has great map pressure and survivors don't like that. And it's the devs, in my opinion, I think the reason why they're constantly nerfing killers is simply because of how big the survivor community is. The survivor community is much bigger than the killer community, and the devs see it fit to cater to them because they're giving them more money. And I don't appreciate being part of a games community where one is seen and heard and the other one is seen but not heard. I really don't appreciate that. I don't. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about was survivor entitlement. Survivors, please start getting good. Please stop complaining. Y'all are making this game unfun for us killers. When the killer community dies, you survivors are going to be the ones that are going to have to play killer to keep the game alive. And the way I see it going is that once the killer community dies, that's if it dies. If the killer community dies, y'all are going to play killer. Y'all are going to start talking mad shit about us, say, oh, killer's easy, killers this, the veteran killers were such pussies, this, that. Y'all are going to continuously play killer until you get to a high rank. And then you're going to start dealing with tough survivors. And once you deal with those tough survivors, you're going to get a taste of your own medicine and you're going to quit killer. And then you're going to go back to survivor and probably wonder why there aren't any killers left. But that is all I have for now, guys. I'm Migrate the Great, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.